Yay.
You're such a baby back bitch, dude.
Dude, I am a baby back bitch, especially when not feeling good.
I can tell, you little baby back bitch boy.
Oh, I fall victim to what everyone says about men being sick, that they're absolute babies. I'm one of those.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, just fucking push that goddamn button, you motherfucker.
Okay.
When you're home, we're in your head. Lock the doors and close the blinds. Turn on your TV. Turn off your mind.
Oh, wow.
Being sick is awesome because you don't do all your dances. And it's really nice because it's like super calm and it's relaxing. It's not like stressful. So yeah, you know what? You should do this more often.
No, I don't want to be sick more often, but I did not dance the last time we recorded.
I know, but you made a pouty face while you were fucking doing it. So now you're like, you weren't really even thinking about it because your mind's so foggy. So this is perfect.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
We are Soul of a Gamer.
Yes.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Steven.
And every week we come at you with a game that we play and we tell you about it. And we hope you enjoyed our last week's game, which was...
That was Alan Wake, correct?
I don't actually know. No, it wasn't Alan Wake. Was it Alan Wake?
Was it? I think it was Alan Wake.
No,
was it not Alan Wake?
I don't remember. I don't think it was Alan Wake. I think it was we played again another game after it. No, it was we really liked it. Rollerdrome.
Oh yes, Rollerdrome.
Yeah. No,
yes.
yeah, not Alan Wake. It's funny as I was even thinking about that this morning when I was thinking about how bad this game was. And I was like, man, how can we go from Rollerdrome to this shit? So yeah. But yeah, that was last week's game. This week's game is
John Wick Hex. Gosh,
John
gosh.
Wick Hex.
Foggy brain.
This is like a RTS style third-person shooter.
I would say tile-based, time-based.
Yeah, RTS
strategy game. Yeah,
real-time strategy.
It's not real-time.
Real time.
No, real time means everything's happening all at once.
It even cuts down the time into separate little second intervals.
Yes,
to show
but that's
you
not
that
real
it's
time. Because even when you complete a level and it shows you the real play, that's the only time it's in real time.
Let me ask you something. Hold on. So if you're counting in seconds, is a second a real time?
Do you consider Dungeons and Dragons a real-time strategy game?
Yes.
Because every turn is only 6 seconds,
yeah.
But a round around the table can take 2 hours to do. That's not real time. Real time is a 1-for-1.
But 6 seconds is a real time.
6 seconds is a time, but that doesn't make it a real time. Real time means it's happening 1-for-1 time scale.
No, real
Each second that passes in the real world, that's exactly how long.
It means that real time is in the game. It's not fake time. It doesn't have its own fucking clock.
There's no such thing as fake time.
Yeah, it's definitely a fucking strategy game, but it's not. We'll talk about it, but it wasn't great for me. But yeah, let's just jump right into that first segment.
Well, there is not really a box for this per se.
Okay.
It was a digital release game, so we're gonna go ahead and skip over that and go straight to the other one.
Sounds good.
Are we in?
So, tell us a little bit about the vocals and composers and stuff.
So, firstly, you know what I really don't like?
What's that?
I miss like games releasing boxes because I actually really like boxes.
I do too.
Like, because there's a certain amount of nostalgia that people who are younger than us won't understand anymore. But when you go to Blockbuster Video and you're just like perusing the game section and a box really catches your eye, you're like, I gotta look at this box. I mean, that's what inspired me to play Mass Effect the first time. So I'm just like, boxes are cool. They should bring back boxes. Fuck
the
trailers.
one time we actually are supposed to judge everything by its cover.
Yeah, and it's like, and it was nice because they didn't do a lot of game trailers back in the day. Like I never saw game trailers on TV.
No, but seriously.
Now it's like nonstop. It's like full fucking productions of TV commercials for the goddamn
the most you would get
games.
is if you had like Game Informer magazine,
Yeah.
it would come with the demo discs / trailers inside of those sometimes.
That's true, but I never got those. I had the Nintendo one for a little while, but even that one was kind of lame. So it's like, you can get the secret on this level that's also on the internet, by the way.
Nintendo World, I loved that one.
I know, Nintendo World. $25.99 a month, or you could just go on the internet and find it for free.
I always just did Game Informer through GameStop when you did the pro membership.
Oh yeah. GameStop was the best.
It was, dude. But yeah,
I miss it.
No,
I miss it so much.
I definitely miss box art so much, and all these digital release games. I wish they would just do some sort of like really cool like cover or something, because like I mean they do like thumbnail art for it.
Yeah,
Which the
and
thumbnail art for
some
it
of it's
is kind
cool.
of-
The one for Roller
yeah,
Drome was really cool.
True.
Like
John
I
Wick
said
Hex is
last week.
alright.
Yeah, last week I said that I'd pick up Roller Drome at a game store if I was in one, if I saw that cover art, because I mean it looked fucking sweet.
Yeah.
This
This one, I think the name's gonna bring more people in than the artwork will.
That's true. They really did try to fucking sell you on the name and that alone. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into Are We Jammin' here. Firstly, we only have 3 voice actors, which is actually really nice to write out. It's not like 25 voice actors, and I don't include 15 of them or something. That's Troy Baker, who Steven loves a lot, as Hex.
Yes, I have his autograph. I love
And
that.
his fucking man crushing over there. Ian McShane as Winston, who plays Winston in the movies as well. And then Lance Reddick as Charon, and Lance Reddick recently died.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. And he also played, I think it's Charon, right?
It's Karen, yeah.
Is it Karen?
It's Karen or Karen.
It's been a long time
It's
since I've
supposed to
seen
be
the movie.
the ferryman of souls.
Yeah, so Charon.
Yeah, Charon.
All right. So Charon. So Lance Reddick is Charon. He recently died this year. I don't know, I guess last year now. But, yep.
Yeah.
And he's also in the movies. And then the composer for
Yes.
this is Austin Wintory. And I think the composer and the voice actors deserve all the props in this game, even though it was really like low on both those things.
Yeah, there wasn't too much voice acting, very short cutscenes in this. I was really genuinely surprised to see both of the actors from the movies come to do this game.
Well, you can
because
tell
this
that
is
they
a really
spent most
small
of their
indie
budget.
game.
They've spent most of their budget on those actors. So
Yeah, well, and I mean, and Troy Baker just always does amazing. He's
Yeah.
one of the most phenomenal voice actors in the gaming world. So
yeah, I mean, it's just sad when the high point of your whole game is your voice acting crew, because it should be a mix of stuff. But it's definitely the highest point for me is the 3 voice actors in this game.
I don't think it's the highest point, but I do really like that they stuck with the same actors and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they
And-
could have changed it. I mean, this is supposed to be years before, because it's like John Wick in his prime or something.
Yeah, which is funny because I think it said like at the beginning of the game like so many years before his wife.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like I couldn't remember what it said.
It's
But
something like that. I know it's supposed to be him in his prime, but I'm like, did he know Charon before? Because when he met him in the first movie, it seemed like that was the first time he fucking met him.
that actually was my question. I was almost debating rewatching the first movie again because I was like, it seems like they didn't know each other. Like he definitely knew Winston.
Yeah, they weren't
But
like
it didn't seem
super
like
friendly.
he knew Karen.
Yeah, that seemed.
But
to
I mean,
go
I
on
guess if
later.
that was their one time they met, maybe he just like barely remember. Like he didn't actually have much communication with them.
Yeah, but then if he's trying to
So.
get John Wick to do shit, I mean, why would you just kidnap a random black dude?
Well,
We'll be fine. Go for it.
It's more the kidnapping Winston probably because he
I
works
know,
so
but
closely with Winston.
It's just really funny. It's like, why the fuck did you kidnap? Oh, just kidnap one.
Well, because
Guys
Karen
could've
goes
saved
with
so-
Winston no, dude. Literally in the movies, if
Does
you've
he?
watched all 4 of the movies, Karen's with Winston every step
But
of
I
the
mean,
way.
that's then. They could have just said he wasn't at this point in their lives or something. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't really matter.
No, but they're tied to the same hotel. They're tied to the same constitution. He's literally his assistant. Like,
Oh,
He does
okay.
everything for him.
I mean, if I were him, I would have only chosen one just so you had some more money to free up for other aspects that could have been improved in this game.
I mean,
That's just
sure.
my opinion on it. It sounds like they're expensive actors, like especially Lance Reddick. He's a fucking huge name in acting. He's not like a small time
I
actor.
honestly think that Troy Baker's a higher cost than the other 2 are.
Really? You think so? I don't know. Lance
100%.
Reddick, dude. I mean, he didn't say that much, too.
Lance Reddick didn't do much in this game. He also he does do a lot of like decent roles, and he does do a lot of like really good roles in some movies and some big movies. But he's not in like he's not a premier actor that you think.
Yeah,
of.
he's not A tier list, but he's at least
Yeah.
B tier list. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably could still cost a good amount, but yeah, I mean, they all did a great job. Music in this game in general was really good. Honestly, I did like the music a lot. A lot of the times it was kind of just... What was weird is it did make you feel like you were playing a spy game, but this is almost the exact opposite of a spy game. I don't know if you felt that way. I felt that way half the way through the game. I'm like, why is the music so spy-like, and yet we're playing a game where it's like zero about stealth?
I wouldn't. I mean, I get what you're saying with it. It did feel like it was like sometimes it just didn't fit the mood.
Yeah.
And there was times, especially like there was times I'd want to pause the game instead of just sitting there waiting because the like just the ambient music that's always going is so repetitive at times.
Yeah. I mean, what would have
Like-
been cool, you know, in the first movie they have the Marilyn Manson song. They should have had that in there.
I mean, you're talking about spending budgets on voice actors, but then you're talking about spending
Marilyn-
more budgets. Dude,
Marilyn Manson is cheap, man. He will do it for
you
fucking
don't know
free.
that for sure.
He'll
You're
do that
guessing.
shit for free.
You're
I am
guessing.
guessing, but it's one of his less famous songs. Do you know Killing Strangers?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
I've seen John Wick, but no.
Yeah, that's the only place I've ever heard that song played besides on my playlist because I love that song.
But I also don't know much about Marilyn Manson.
But they also
besides
could have
the
hired like a
numbers.
local band to do like some cool rock shit for this. That would have been cool. Like
I mean,
dark
fair.
metal or something. That would have been a cool little add-on for this, but instead of having a composer, well, whatever. You know, that's
I
to
mean,
each
every
their
game
own.
needs a composer.
I know,
I
I
wouldn't
know.
separate that.
This game, I think, because it was so repetitive, the composer maybe didn't do as much as they could have, or maybe they were told not to do that much. Who knows? But either way, it could have used some little bit more oomph in the background. I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
all right. Well, that's it. That's all I have for voice acting and shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally not much to this,
Yeah,
guys. This
guys.
game is a very short game.
Well, it's long, but
and
it's
the cuts-
short. That's the weird part. Like, it's
Yes.
a long fucking game, but it's short on everything except for gameplay.
Like, if you're really good at this game, you'll get through it in like 4 hours.
Yeah,
And if you're
probably.
bad at this game, it'll probably take you 10 to 12 hours or longer. And
Yeah.
the cutscenes of this game maybe take up maybe 30 minutes total.
If that. If they
If
even
that.
that. Maybe 10 minutes, honestly. Some
yeah,
of them are
it's,
really
it's,
short.
it's real short. And there's a
Yeah.
couple of voice acting lines during the game, but it's usually like 3 sets of lines and then it's just quiet. And
Yeah.
It's just music. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about it, too. There's not much to say.
All right. Let's move on.
How does it play?
Now, this is where I think most people either absolutely hate this or grow to love it.
Gameplay?
Yes.
So, my thing about this, and I actually really enjoyed the first 4 levels of this game.
100% agree.
Like, honestly, that was a lot of fun for me, just learning the mechanics of it and then getting to the 4th level. And then you have the realization after the 4th level is, oh my god, this game isn't over yet. Because
yeah.
after that, it just gets so boring and fucking repetitive. I couldn't finish. Guys, I didn't finish this game. I got bored out of my mind by the 5th level. I'm on the last mission of the 5th level, and I'm like, it's the 5th time I've done this mission, and I'm like, I'm just tired of this, and I'm bored. There's nothing new happening. This is all the same shit from the previous ones, only they introduced harder people to kill. That's it.
Yes.
I
And
hated that. I was like, this is so fucking bad.
the thing that sucks is the beginning of this game is everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
It made you feel like John Wick. It
Yeah.
made you feel like an action hero going through a movie. And the timing of things in the game was awesome, and the pacing of the game with the enemies was so perfect to make you feel like a fucking god. Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're playing as Baba Yaga. You should be nonstop killing people the entire time, not barely struggling at all. And it's not until like later in the game that you start feeling like John Wick 4 John Wick, where he's just getting his ass kicked every step of the way because they're just
Yeah.
throwing every amount of enemy and every amount of fucking enemy type that's just awful to go against. And
But this is also John Wick in his prime, so it's almost like you should be better.
yes, because at the point in John Wick 4, it's after he's dealt with 3 full movies of just getting battered down to shit, and he's like, I'm almost dead.
Injury,
like,
and that's after like getting all the injuries in his prime, and after he settled down and got married. Like, this is fucking him when he is normally killing fucking people.
Yes, where everyone is terrified of his name. And
I don't know. You're right.
Yeah.
I definitely in the first 4 missions felt that way. Even mission 4 was a little bit harder, but I think that was the pinnacle for me of, okay, now you're like, this should be where the last bad guy comes in. This is like, you feel like a little bit more challenge, and this is where it is. But then they go on, and it just gets way fucking too hard and way too boring, and like this game makes this big mistake. So and I've thought of several examples, and all of them work. So in a normal game, you know, there is we talked about it over text. What did you call this? It's like when games get harder over time.
Oh, difficulty spike.
Yeah, so the difficulty spike happens in almost every game, right?
Yes.
You think about Halo.
Yeah.
By the Flood, like before the Flood, it's difficult, but it's manageable because there's not like unlimited enemies. But by the Flood, you're like, holy shit, there's basically unlimited enemies coming at me. But at that point, you know what they do?
What?
They literally have every single weapon in the game available that the Flood is holding. So every single one you kill can get you a rocket launcher.
True.
By the last mission, every other Flood has a rocket launcher. You can kill them, just take it and start fucking blowing shit up. So that difficulty spike happened, but there's also like a revolving door where you are also gaining more things to help you combat that difficulty spike.
Yeah.
And almost every game does that. Like RPGs, things get more difficult, but you get stronger. Like it's a whole thing. But this game does not introduce that concept. Even the guns get fucking worse as you get the guns.
I was gonna say, besides the carbine.
Yeah,
that's
besides literally the only one, only good gun besides the pistol.
Yes, and it honestly was ridiculous trying to use any SMG, machine pistol, or assault rifle, like all those weapons. And I was really missing because like knives are a huge part of the John Wick series, and just other objects. Like he kills a guy with a pencil in a library book in the movies and stuff. Like it's ridiculous the things that he can use in the movies. And I guess I was wanting just more interactive things with the environment. Yeah. Kind of like a good comparison that I've seen some people compare it to is Midnight Fight Express, which was another game that we felt was kind of
just lacking. Yeah.
Yeah, and lacking. But that had a lot more RPG elements to it and variability to it. And I guess that's what this game was lacking the most for me, is like maybe add grenades. Like if you're gonna add the amount of enemies that you're gonna add towards the end of the game, you need to add something to be able to wipe out multiple enemies at once. Like it is ridiculous that is never a thing.
Like, and in the movies, I'm sure John Wick has more of an advantage. Like I felt like at no point I had an advantage in this game to do anything.
Not once you get to the 5th and 6th missions, no.
Yeah, the 5th one was fucking difficult. By the end of it, I'm in the last level, and I'm just like, I'm done. This is boring as shit, and I'm tired of playing it. I was honestly tired of playing the game.
So here's the other thing that's kind of annoying, is throughout the first few missions of this game, everything is kind of like, the enemies seem to have kind of like a grid pattern that they're walking and going around.
Kind of. If you lose one and you play it again, they're in completely different spots than they were previously, which I thought was fucking dumb.
So it's really RNG oriented too in some of these aspects, because sometimes there'll be 8 enemies in the first room and sometimes there's 4.
Yeah.
And when you get surrounded in this game, it is near impossible to do fucking anything.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, so many times in the game, especially when you get in towards the later missions, when you get towards the last area, like, you'll press the elevator door button, 3 guys will come out of the elevator, and 3 guys will just spawn out of nowhere. Yeah. It starts doing this thing in the game, because most of the time in the game, enemies come out of these doors that you can very well see. You can even hear the doors open, even if you're not visually seeing them in the game. There's a sound cue for it. It's like, oh, there's an enemy going to be coming from some direction. I don't know quite where yet. So it gives you some sort of notification. At some point in the game, they just start spawning out of nowhere when you hit a certain tile.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking frustrating.
Yeah, this game really... The difficulty spike really screwed them over and the enjoyment for me on the game.
100%.
But let's jump into some mechanical stuff. So this game, like we said earlier, it's like think of it like a chessboard mover game. You're basically allowed to move a certain amount of steps that are predetermined by the game. If you move up a certain amount, you can see enemies. When you see enemies, you have several actions you can take against them. If you're close enough to like melee them, you can melee them. If you're not, you can shoot them. If you have a gun, you can throw your gun. Stuff like that. And that was great for the first few missions. And then by, like we've already said, the fifth mission is just, it gets really obnoxious. The guns in this game, normally when you introduce new guns, they're better. For some reason, they just get worse. I don't know how the trigger of a gun gets slower to fucking pull somehow when a new gun gets introduced, but apparently that's a thing.
Well, and it's ridiculous because no matter what in this game, aiming takes the longest amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just so frustrating sometimes. And like some of the things, like, even though something takes 2 seconds long, you start your interaction at 0.1 second.
Yeah.
And control them for the entire 2 seconds. And other times, it'll take you a second and a half to do it, but if you get interrupted at all in that second and a half, you're fucked.
Yep. And what's really annoying is if you prepare, so if you're like waiting for an enemy to come around a corner, you know they're going to come around, you're already prepared for it. If you choose to try to begin hitting them at the point they come around the corner, it says you have like a 30% hit chance, right?
Yeah.
But even if you choose to hit them at that point, it still waits until they're fully stopped in front of you to actually shoot. So, and it still takes into account that you'll have a 30% hit chance rather than increasing it to 100, what it would be if you just waited 2 seconds.
So this is the problem I had with this game, because even though, and we are saying, if it is kind of like XCOM and those other kind of strategy games too, if you've ever played any of those, because it gives you percentage based on your hits and gives you field of vision and stuff like that. And one of the things and movement penalties and all this other shit, one of the things that's super fucking frustrating with this game is when you're doing any of that stuff, like there's times, and I actually have a recording that I recorded of this, I had 100% hit chance and missed.
Yep.
And I was like, this is fucking stupid. You should not, I don't give a fuck if that guy moved. He moved a fucking foot, one step, one fucking tile, and it said I had a 100% chance to hit. If you know that he's in the process of moving and my percentage is lower, you need to show me that shit.
Yeah.
You need to show me the penalties. You cannot have hidden penalties in this game. It is so stupid that 100% hit chance can miss. Yeah. There was times where someone was one tile in front of me or 2 tiles in front of me, and I had a machine gun in my hand, and I had an 80% hit chance and missed with all 5 bullets. Yeah. You know how ridiculous it is to miss with all 5 bullets when each one has an 80% hit chance?
Yep. One thing this game suffers from, too, which is kind of obnoxious. So I feel like in the movies, you know, John Wick is what is basically on a rampage, right?
Yes.
He's fucking pissed. He's been out of the game, so he's not doing it. Like, I feel like normal John Wick would have maybe been stealthier. Not just, like, throwing himself at enemies in order, like...
No.
You don't think so? I think so. I think he would have been at least a little smarter about how he went with it, and that's what it seemed like they tried to do. But then it's not. It's like he's still like, I'm just rampaging. Throw my body at it. I'm just like, okay.
They've never shown him doing that in the movies, so I would never say
like,
he was
like
that
I said,
way.
it just seems like an extended rampage, the movies, at least to me. And that's maybe why he did it that way. Because he already knew he wasn't coming out alive, so he's like, fuck it, I'll throw my body at this.
Well, he didn't care if he came out alive. And he
exactly. So, like, he's like throwing.
It wasn't until he met his wife that he actually started caring about anything.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I don't know. To me, they just did this whole thing of John Wick is a guy who just throws himself at shit, and they could have made this game more stealthy, which actually probably would have made it better gameplay wise. It might have not made it good, like, realism-wise, but who gives a shit? Like, honestly, you're basing it off of a fucking movie. Just fucking do it like it's going to be good for gameplay.
I don't agree to make it stealthy. I think take the amount of enemies back. I think make the difficulty less. I think lower the amount of damage some of the enemies can take at the end of the game, because it gets to a point where guys can take, like, fucking 3 shotgun blast point blank. Like, it's fucking stupid.
Well,
I don't give a fuck.
Weapons in this game, guys, they get worse. They get fucking worse.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
honestly, even the damage does not. No, so shotguns. What is the thing about shotguns, Steven? Well, every
like
game,
instant kills.
yeah. But what's the other thing? What's the negative side in every other fucking game about shotguns?
Range,
Well, range is one of them, but the most important one.
reload time.
Yep, reload time. That's
Yeah.
usually the only thing you feel when you have a shotgun that's really bad about a shotgun. It's the fucking reload time and the range. Right?
Well, and this game doesn't really have reloading except for guns
No.
that you stash yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So why the fuck does it take you an extra 7 fucking seconds to pull the goddamn trigger? No other game fucking does that.
Yeah, no, it's fucking stupid, honestly.
God,
and
it's so
without
dumb.
how skilled he is at using guns, I doubt. And I mean, if you even see clips of the John Wick movies or see clips of
Yeah,
even
he's
Keanu
picking up-
Reeves at
he's
an
using
actual
everything.
gun range, he's using every kind of gun
So-
instantly, so fast, and his accuracy with shooting is insane.
Yeah.
And so, without even like really trying, so for him to take so much time to set up these shots in
Yeah.
every scenario is annoying as fuck.
Yeah, and what was weird about that too is during the game I thought, well, maybe he's just really proficient in pistols, and that's why he's so good with his
Oh,
pistols.
100% he is. That's his main
and
weapon.
he's not with anything else. But then you said, well, he fucking throws knives and shit too, and they didn't include
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, so they already fucking handicapped him if he's really good at 2 things and only gave you one of those 2 things.
Like I said, in the John Wick movies, it's also environmental attacks
Yeah.
and shit. Like, he uses whatever he can around
So
him
literally,
to his
there's no
advantage.
excuse to give him a fucking shotgun and say, what the hell is this thing?
Well, and they allowed him to throw the guns, which is one of the things he does
Yeah.
in the movie that I actually really love.
Yeah, I actually really
But-
loved it in this game too. It worked out. It works out as a good stun for a second.
Yes, it really does.
But they made it, it takes too long for him to pick up fucking weapons, which is another problem.
Yeah.
Like, they're
Yeah.
already loaded, he's not reloading anything, and yet he can't pick them up in, like, less than a fucking second like he would. In the movie, I feel like he just, like, grab the gun as he's rolling, and out of a roll, take a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
and I wish you could do shit like that.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, you don't, like, when you said you get surrounded by enemies and you kind of get fucked, I'm thinking, like, well, why don't they add a berserker mode in there where John Wick just goes fucking insane for, like, 5 seconds or something? and is
Or
able
like
to
one of
take out
those like
multiple
quick draw
enemies.
modes in like Red Dead movies or something where
Yeah.
it's like time freezes and he gets an extra action
Yeah.
to shoot an
I
extra
agree.
person in that short amount of
Anything.
time or something. Anything. Like,
anything.
any sort of power move. And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the thing I had the biggest problem with in this game. That I was so fucking furious with that makes no goddamn fucking sense in this
The
entire
bosses?
fucking game. I'm not even starting there. I'm starting with the RPG planning elements of this game.
Yeah, what planning
So-
elements? There are none.
Well, you can plan to put like stashes of weapons or bandages on the maps or whatever.
I
or-
never got that option. I don't know how you do that.
You do it between each mission.
So like you
At the
got
start-
you got those like points to spend stuff. I
Yeah.
never saw one that said like stash bandages. I
There's
didn't have
there are certain missions you can't stash anything on, and certain missions that
the
there are
first
certain parts of the
5.
missions.
The first 4 I didn't have that at all, and then the 5th one I didn't get to do any stashing. Like it just
You
went to
you
the
got to
5th
stash
mission.
after on the second mission. You got to
No, I didn't see it.
to do your planning.
Yeah.
It should have happened
So yes,
automatically
the
for you.
planning was there, but I didn't see those things like stashing extra ammo or stashing extra bandages, anything like that. I did
You
not
didn't see them on the map, you mean, or you didn't
No,
see
I
them?
I didn't see them on that list of stuff I could do.
Oh, I don't
And,
know
like-
how you didn't see that, but
Because
I
I
definitely
read
did
every
all the
single one.
planning.
It'd be like push 1 -1 for push distance. This for
Oh,
that.
that's the tailoring.
Oh, so that's all I saw was a tailoring. I didn't get to
So
use
it
the
was
stash stuff.
left bumper was the planning of the stashes, and then right bumper was the
Oh,
tailoring.
I used the keyboard.
And or yeah, whatever.
They
it
did
was
not
then.
explain
So,
that. They literally
No,
did not
there's
explain that
there's
at all.
very little explanation. I just explored and found that. But
Yeah.
the tailoring is the thing I had the biggest. The stashing's okay. The stashing is okay, except for there's a lot of times
bet
like
that would've really
especially in
helped me.
like the last mission, like the tailoring's not worth it at all. Don't fucking tailor your suit at all. Don't ever fucking tailor your suit. It is absolute bullshit.
You get to
But-
push from 1 extra distance, though.
Stashing can be super beneficial because you can
And that's-
stash like a carbine on a level.
That's what I really wanted to do is stash weapons.
So
and
I stashed a
couldn't- I never
carbine
did
and then
it.
bandage, carbine, bandage.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the missions, especially like in the last set of missions, there's 6 levels in the last set of missions. You can only stash in the first 2. You can't stash it all for the next 4. I was like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And then the tailoring is the thing I had the biggest problem with. So the suits in the John Wick franchise are super fucking important to the series. They're super fucking important because each time he gets a new suit, it's got different things. It's got different tactile stuff. It's got the bulletproofness. It's everything. So in this game, when you spend money that disappears after each round, I think that tailored suit modifications should be throughout your entire run because you're not changing suits after every fucking level.
You don't know that. Maybe he's stashing a suit,
That
too.
is so fucking dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm sorry, but, like, if I pay for an upgrade for a suit, I thought that was a permanent upgrade.
Yeah.
It's not. None of them are fucking permanent upgrades. That is so fucking stupid
And
that
you have to buy
this
it for
mini
the
RPG
same-
system. And it costs so much.
Yeah.
So, at the same cost it would to store fucking 4 carbines, you could give yourself increased push distance.
Yep.
What? What?
I never even used push. I'm gonna be
30
very honest.
fucking insta kills on low enemies, or you could maybe push a guy 1 extra space. Why the fuck would you ever choose the other?
Well, I chose it because that's all I could afford, and I didn't know I could stash shit.
Yeah, you had to go to each level and separately, and then click on the level.
That's
and then you
really dumb.
And then
That
you had to
is
see if
really
you
stupid.
could stash on that level, but then certain levels cost more because it's an expensive stash place because
Yeah.
it's a harder place to get into. So even like the planning elements of this were kind of dumb. They weren't very helpful unless you were planting carbines, which you didn't unlock carbines until what? Mission
I think it's
4
at
or
least
mission 5?
4. I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Because you had them on the bank at the very least, and that's 5. But I remember
I'd-
them in 4.
Yeah. And it's the only guns you get in this game that actually have 2 clips of ammunition.
Yeah.
It gives you a full clip, and then which is the only time you ever get a full gun ever in this game. Because it's like having the famine skull on in Halo throughout the entire game. Every enemy you attack, you get maybe between 2 and 7 bullets with. Or if you do get 17 bullets with, it's on a machine gun, and it always shoots 5, no matter what.
If you kill, that was something I hated too. It's if you have a machine gun, it's automatically it's less hit chance, which is weird for like
Yes.
a submachine gun where you normally shoot in like small controlled bursts.
Yes.
But if you kill them in the first 2 shots, it still shoots 3 more shots. I'm like, isn't this guy a fucking professional?
Yeah.
What are we doing right now?
Yeah, there's so many stupid things like that. But yeah, I just... there's so many things that feel so good in this game, but there's so many
first
things that
4
feel
missions
so
worked
bad.
out great. And then after that, it just got really fucking unnecessarily difficult and really fucking boring because they don't introduce any new elements, and the elements that they had weren't good enough to take on the regular
And
missions.
most of the bosses were fine until mission 5. And then I got super annoyed. It wasn't like... If you can get close range to that boss really fast, it's not that bad if you have your full focus bar open. Because you can stagger... But
this
that
the bank?
boss... No, this is the one at the Alps.
All right, that's mission 6, I think.
Oh, sorry, mission 6 then.
Yeah.
So the fucking Alps, when you go to that maze and you have to fight his daughter who's wielding a crossbow. She has 14 health and 14 focus, and she's immune to gun damage as long as she has her focus up.
All of them are. That was the thing about bosses. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they said. It's like bosses are immune to gun damage while they have focus up, so you have to go up and, like, hit them with your fists. Like, that was a whole thing in the beginning of the game.
There was one of the bosses I just killed.
Maybe you can,
with a
like,
gun.
have a slight chance of hitting them then, but, like, at the first boss, it told me, like, bosses are immune to damage unless you get their focus down. And you can only get their focus down by beating them up for some reason.
Yeah.
Gunfire
That's
is
just
not working.
That's just such a stupid thing. You have to do 14 points of physical damage
Yeah,
before
and
you
not
can do
only that, guys, your physical damage does not damage their health at all. It only damages their focus, even if they have 0 focus. So you have to shoot them to kill them. It's really fucking dumb.
And that's only for bosses because physical
Yeah.
damage actually hurts real people and
Yeah.
lowers their focus. So it's so dumb. And then for that boss fight in particular, after that point, you can't just keep hitting them because they're immune to physical damage, physical melee damage after you get their focus bar down. I'm like, so they're immune to gun damage for the first half of the fight, and then they're immune to punching and kicking.
As you're right next to them doing
Yes.
punching and kicking, which is quicker than shooting the fucking gun.
Which I would still either take them down or punch them just to stagger them to be able to shoot them.
Yeah.
Because they would run away or they would do a ridiculous amount of damage to you.
The bosses purposely run away when their focus is low so they can refocus.
Yes.
It's actually super annoying. They shouldn't be able to refocus.
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah, the gameplay in this game just really fucking... It's a nail-biter, guys. It's not good. You're going to sit there and, like, be pissed off, and you're going to throw shit, and you're going to bang on your desk and shit like that. Like, it's just boring as shit, too.
Reloading your gun gets rid of all of the ammunition in it.
Yep. Which, I mean,
and there's no pick. It's more realistic. I get that.
It is more realistic. I get what they were doing there, and you could just spend all your ammunition and then reload. But reloading is not even worth it. Just fucking throw your gun away and grab a different one. It seemed like.
But to the same extent, like if all of these enemies all use the same pistol, you could take out the magazine and have magazines on you, and that's annoying that it doesn't let you at least have the magazines as ammunition. Because instead of having to pick up another weapon entirely, I could just have, I picked up 3 magazines on the way.
Yeah.
And be able to, like, switch those out when I ran out of ammo or something. Like, anything. There is other ways. Like, that's still abiding by the laws of actual ammunition.
Yeah. I don't know. They made this game purposely difficult for almost no reason, and purposely not fun, and purposely shit story. So,
yeah.
Speaking of which, let's get into the story. It'll take us like 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's story time. Let's get started.
Go for it.
There's literally almost no story to this. It seems it's really silly. I don't like this aspect of storytelling. Like, I like it and I don't like it. In some cases, it works really well, but it takes away any what do I want to say? Consequences to your actions when somebody else is telling the story about what you did, right? So in Prototype, we talked about that, where you're basically telling this guy a story at the beginning of the game, which is kind of silly because you really don't have to.
Yeah.
And what it does is if you chose to do some weird shit, those consequences don't hit as hard because they're not happening in real time. They're happening in the past. And your character clearly lived past that point, so it's not like it almost seems like there's no point to you doing any of the stuff that led up to this point. You might as well just focus on that point, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a weird way to do it. I feel the same way about prequels. Prequels are weird because it's like you know how you're going to end up, so what's the point in playing the prequel? But sometimes they're fun, so I get it.
Well, in instances of like Star Wars Rogue One, prequels are awesome.
Yeah.
In instances of this prequel story sucked. Yeah.
So, Hex, an international criminal, has kidnapped Winston and Charon as a show of force against the High Table and as insurance against John Wick. Hex wants to take the seat his father once had at the High Table. His father was thrown out due to not following the rules of the High Table. Hex didn't see this as a problem and attempts to take control. John Wick tries to stop him by taking out smaller members of his operation. He makes his way to the warehouse where Winston and Karen are being held and confronts and kills Hex by throwing him over a balcony. The three then walk out together. That's it. That's the whole story. Literally, like, you go to a bunch of places, but all of those places just tell you, like, go to this next place, and maybe you'll find out more about Hex. It's just really stupid.
Well, and, like, all of Hex's, like, I had this plan, and I had a contingency plan, and I had this, and I was like, what's your contingency plan? Like, I'm still not seeing this grand illusion plan that you have to kill him. Like, I don't get it, and you're just like, fine, I'll do it. He has a fine, I'll do it myself moment, which is like, god damn it. Like,
so, and what it seems like, too, maybe,
shit.
I don't know if it seemed like to you, but it almost seemed like in the first part of this game, he kidnapped Winston and Charon after John Wick has already been looking for him for a while, but clearly that's not the case, even though that's kind of what they alluded to.
I don't think I got that. I think
it's just
John Wick was after him because he kidnapped him.
Well, because the first time they ask him, like, why did you take us? He's like, because John Wick is after me. And you're like, okay. And then he tells the entire story up, which I assume it's up to the point where John Wick shows up at his house or his warehouse.
Yeah,
I assume it's up to that point. I don't know when they stopped this whole like background, like it's told in the future story bullshit that they were doing.
I don't know. I think the dumbest part of the story for me, and it's even funny that Lance Reddick character actually says it in the game, because like Hex is talking about how much he hates the institution and hates the high table and wants nothing to do with it, but he still wants to have a chair at the high table. So he's like, you're saying all this shit about how awful everything is a part of this, but you're fighting so hard and wanting to kill Baba Yaga to still get it. Like, do you understand what you even want? Like, he even says something to that effect. And I was like, that's a very good fucking point, though. Like, none of your story makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
Like, you can't both want to be part of the institution and hate everything about the institution and only want to have a chair in the institution, not to change anything, but to give it to your daughter. It's not even for you. It's not even so you can make changes or do anything different. It's literally, I want to kill Baba Yaga because he killed my daddy so that my daughter can have a spot, even though I hate everything about every part of this process and who all these people are, and the high table is all bunches of pieces of shit.
But it worked out so well for his daughter.
Yeah, he's which is also stupid. Like, I'm gonna let her take care of John Wick, even though I'm terrified of John Wick, and
even though
my
I know
daughter's
John
done
Wick
everything.
Like up
He's
to
killed
this
all
point,
of my guys.
Yeah, he's killed like 150 guys, but you know what?
We
My
even
daughter
had
can
him
take
trapped in a bank, and we're just gonna let the oxygen deplete out of him. But then his guys got too antsy of wanting to kill him himself. Like this, there's so many stupid things about this story. That's one of the worst capture moments in a game I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, because it takes away that whole like attempt to escape part of this.
Yes.
And you're like, nope, you don't get to attempt to escape. They're just gonna kind of let you out.
Yeah.
Also, you still had your gun, which was weird.
Yes, which was also dumb.
Like,
I thought you were going to start with nothing, and I was like, that's actually at least interesting.
Nope, you still have your gun. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no. And that's one mission you don't get to do any planning on.
Yeah.
So
that, which was annoying. I think that's a really fucking annoying thing, because you're still going in with the idea that you might find out information about Hex there. So why wouldn't you do fucking planning?
Yeah,
I don't know. That whole thing was really dumb.
It is. It's just bad.
Yeah. Story-wise, I mean, I didn't like the story. I thought it was too short. I didn't think it was interesting enough. It didn't really capture my attention. Like, this is, again, a game I could not finish because I was just so fucking bored with it by the 5th level. I'm like, all right, well, if this is all this game is going to present to me, then I've already played this game to its fullest.
Yeah.
So... literally all I missed out on was dying a bunch, it sounds like. I didn't miss out on anything cool that came up in the story or anything cool that came up in the gameplay. Like, that's a really annoying thing about this game, is the fact that I gave up at the 5th level should mean that I missed out on something cool by the end, and I didn't.
You didn't.
So, and that's really fucking annoying to me.
Because even that last mission, it just gets redonkulous with the amount of people they throw at you. The second to last actual like level or whatever, it's even called the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
And it's like, we have failed to kill John Wick at every step of the way, so I'm literally throwing everybody I have at him to see if he can survive. And you don't even have to kill everybody in that mission. And a lot of people say, especially for trying to get the highest rating on these levels, is just to run through that level as quick as you can towards the end, because it just gets ridiculous with the amount of enemies that never seem to end. They never seem to stop spawning on that level. Yeah. And then you go against Hex in the last boss fight, and he's got ridiculous health bar and focus bar
For an old man.
and it's in this tiny little room, and they still have random enemies that keep spawning in that room.
So they have the random enemies, I think, because they keep dropping weapons.
Yeah, and that's the only reason they're there.
Yeah.
But it's still frustrating to have to deal with multiple enemies with a boss.
Yeah. Like, and you do it in other games. Like, if you remember in Mass Effect, I think I want to say at that last boss when he transforms, he'll randomly, like, go into invulnerability mode and then send in some Geth troopers to give you more ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which, no, not to give you more ammo. I'm not sure why he did it, but the boss wouldn't fight you while the troopers were there.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the correct way to do that. So.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like, you'll see the boss, like, jump to a certain area or
jump
something.
away for a moment while he
they
recollects
heal
himself.
and then you have to face the others while doing that.
Yeah, and that makes more sense to me, but in this game, clearly they didn't do that. They just kind of throw enemies while you're fighting the boss. Kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But whatever. That was story, so let's move on.
Yeah.
It's time for reviews.
I didn't do much of review, kind of looking at stuff, but I did find a couple that I felt like it would be fun to read, so I'll start with a couple of those.
Okay.
So, we are going to see if you are just like me and a little bitch boy, or if your arguments are valid.
Well, actually, I would say and argue that both of us are little bitch boys because this game sucks.
That's fair.
Little bitch boys by association.
Yes. Alright. First review I got here. Positives. Definitely feels John Wick-like. Moving between multiple targets, throwing guns at enemies to buy time. Interesting strategic choices and time units consumed. Short individual level length lends to replays and improving on your own performance. Ian McShane and Lance Reddick. Woohoo! Visually stylish, inexpensive. A chance to watch a real-time playthrough of the action is a very nice touch. The negatives of this game. Feels unpolished, character animations, quality, and design is very basic and limited. Camera control offers little enjoyment of some nice-looking locations. The basic strategy is solid and interesting, but it's all about either position, shoot, or melee. There's little variety in the weapons apart from damage, time. So the cycle of dodge, shoot, punch over and over lacks longevity. It could really use more environmental improvisation, which is the heart of John Wick, and something which Super Hot demonstrated the possibilities of very well. In fact, while this is turn-based, the closest comparison to this is Super Hot. Once again, hex-based movement in a man-made interior locations just doesn't work as well as a grid does, but this is a classic tabletop platform. Would like to see improvement animations, both in fluidity and variety, more John Wick-style multi-kills using environments, combos, or even enemies as shields. That's something he uses in the movie a lot.
See, and that's what I thought while playing, too, so that's a good note there.
And a proper director's cam for the real-time playback would be a wonderful toy. 100% agreed. This is one of the best reviews I've read in a long time.
I think this guy hit all the good things about... The only thing I disagree with him on is like some of the good things he said. But...
Well, and the good things, I mean, it is interesting, the strategic choices of time units. Like, it is. I do like the playback of the replay of like after the mission is over. Sometimes, like when you get a really good run, it is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hard agree with everything he says. Super valid. All right, this is a long
bitch boy.
Not a little bitch boy at all. This is a little bit longer of a negative review. Let's go for this one.
Is it written by me?
It sounds like it from the way it starts. Why did I... Or no, it sounds like me a little bit ago. Why did I miss when I threw my gun directly at an enemy when the game said it had a 100% hit chance? Why did I miss when I shot an enemy in front of me twice, even though the game said it would have a 100% hit chance? How the hell did I miss an enemy takedown on an enemy that was right in front of me when the game said I would hit with a 100% hit chance? Does the hit chance mean nothing? I tried to perform a melee takedown on an enemy right in front of me because the game gave me a 100% hit chance, obviously, and apparently John Wick missed. And the enemy simply just walked away, and I was shot in the back twice and subsequently killed by an enemy who had just randomly entered the building from behind me. The field of vision of John, too, is the worst thing I've ever fucking seen. I can somehow see enemies almost halfway down the map away from me, but for some reason, at least twice while the game was playing, this once... Oh, sorry, I lost my place there. I can somehow see enemies almost half the map away from me, but for some reason, at least twice while playing this, once an enemy moved directly in front of me, the game stopped allowing me to see them until they shot me or once was moved. Oh, that's weird. Also, this is John Wick. Game mechanics aside, there's no reason why when I successfully take down an enemy right in front of me that he's able to get in a shot before I do so. Apparently, John Wick stands still in front of the enemy just long enough before a takedown to allow himself to get shot once. I closed this game immediately once I saw what John Wick's death animation looked like. John Wick just shot and fell, but for some reason both his arms and legs sprawled out completely, like this ending scene in the original RoboCop, where the bad guy just gets pushed off the building and bad CGI makes his arm inhumanely long. My guess is the developers used their limited game development knowledge to decide to horribly design a game and slap a John Wick IP on it and have the gall to charge $20 for it. The only reason I bought this game in the first place is because of the John Wick name. And I thought to myself, oh cool, there's a game where I get to play as John Wick. I know for a fact that I would not have bought this game if I did not have John Wick in it. Now I'm regretting my decision because I bought it too long ago to refund it. But at least I'm quite sure I did not buy it at full price, so I guess that's a win.
I will say that guy's a little bitch boy for sure. Also, he's wrong. There's no hit percentage on fucking takedowns. They just happen.
There is no, but you can't get interrupted, and they can't move away.
Maybe that's what he was saying, the interruption.
And it stops you. Like, because if you're about to get shot and they move out of your takedown range or whatever, because they also have a chance to dodge like you do if they have enough focus for it. So maybe that's what he didn't realize was happening, but the 100% missing is annoying.
Yeah. There's certain things in there for sure. It was too rambly and long. He could have just said, this game fucking sucks, dude. Just avoid it.
Pretty much did, yeah. Another review. Extremely hard and boring combat with limitations after the first 2 missions. Buy it on sale if you want to try your luck many times.
What's funny about this is every single one has repeated what I said. It's fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that was my biggest problem with this game, is it's just fucking boring.
One of these reviews just says, just play Midnight Fight Express.
That's not even a good game, you bastard.
I know.
Play something good. Play Little Fighters. Little Fighters.
Yeah. Not a lot of other reviews. The reviews for this game are mixed to the very best, and there's not many reviews. There's only 316 reviews on Steam itself, which is low for a game with a John Wick name. I thought this game would be a lot more popular, especially because I saw it on so many YouTube lists. Yeah. And so many YouTube lists, especially like in the UK, we're all talking about how amazing this game was and how
so many YouTube lists are wrong.
No, I know. I was like, why did I play this game? I'm mad.
Because here's the thing about these lists is the developers tend to pay people to say their game is good, so they get...
Yeah.
It's like now on TikTok, you'll see all these ads that come up for shit, and they'll act like TikTok videos. I've seen these a million times on Facebook saying, like, this looks like a TikTok video, but it's actually an ad. And it'll be like someone saying, I'm doing this part 14. And you're like, okay, well that's an ad.
It's not just random shit that I looked at. These are sites and people that I usually look at very credible.
Everyone is
the problem is a lot of the people that I watch reviews of for this that really enjoyed this game really enjoyed games like XCOM, where they have those same problems in those games, where the difficulty spike is outrageous, where 100% or even 80% you can miss all of your shots. And that's something that everyone says in the XCOM games is the most frustrating part of the game, is you can have 93% hit chance and miss. And it's true, and I know there's a 7% chance or whatever that you could still miss, but when you're shooting 5 shots and all 5 of them miss, you're like the statistics. Statistical anomaly of that happening is ridiculous.
But remember how probability works. It's not an 80% chance for all 5 shots.
No, it's an 80% chance each time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's like... So, and I bet they don't do this, and you're probably right. They have like a hidden fucking bullshit in there somewhere.
Yes.
But I bet it's 80% chance for the first fucking shot, and then after that, it's up in the air. I bet you fucking anything.
That's the thing. The game never shows you, because it talks about movement penalties in this game, and you can upgrade your movement penalties for or against you, for or against the enemies. So you can make it, like, you can tailor your suit to make it so when you're moving, they have less percentage of a chance to hit you. And you can make it so you have more of a chance to hit them if they're moving, or more of a chance to hit them if they're at longer distances. The annoying part about this game is that they never show you what those penalties are.
Yep.
And they should. Like, that would lower so much of the frustration out of it, because I'm not seeing 100% in missing. I would see 100% chance to hit, but he's moving, so there's a negative 35% chance or something. Like, you need to show me that. You need to show me what the penalties are. You can't have these hidden mechanics in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Hidden mechanics are bullshit.
Yes.
Complete bullshit. Is that all for reviews?
I think so. There's some other ones, but most of them say a lot of the same shit. They're either like, this game made me feel like John Wick, I loved it. This game makes me feel like XCOM, I loved it. This game's underappreciated, or this game fucking sucks. Like, it's 100% you like it, you love it, or you liked the first half of it and hated the second half of it. Yeah. That is all the reviews I'm seeing.
I might leave a review and say, I'm reviewing these reviews, and I love them all.
Right?
We'll see.
But yeah,
all right, well, let's go.
Worth or not?
All right, I kind of feel like I know what your rating of this game is.
Yeah, I don't. If we haven't made this completely clear by this point, I don't know what will, but this will solidify it. This is a nah. This is a fucking pass on this game. Find something better to do with your time.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I really think there's a lot of interesting things that could be done here, and if by some odd chance they get a sequel and fix all these problems,
which they might. I mean, we've seen that several times.
Yes, I would 100% play that game. It's hard for me to say that I would recommend this game to anyone other than people who like XCOM.
Yeah.
I for the life of me, like, I'm on the gauntlet level right now myself. I'm at the end, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to finish it.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to recommend a game that, like, we just struggled so much with and just becomes so unfun, because it really does. It got to a point, and even Jen said this while I was playing the game, like, I was, like, having so much fun with it and, like, showing her all these, like, cool replays and doing all these awesome things, like, man, this thing is fucking awesome. And then by the time, like, I think it was around, like, the 4th mission, I just started cussing at the game every fucking 5 minutes. Like, I was just so mad, and I could only play it in, like, hour spurts because of how frustrating it would get.
I will tell you right now, on my last playthrough of Skies of Arcadia, I put like 170 hours into that game. Not a single hour did I notice go by. Not a single fucking one. This game, every minute I was counting. I was literally looking at my phone. I'm like, God damn, it's 4:14. I wanted to be done with this by 4:10.
That's fair.
It's like,
no, I definitely noticed time more in this game than I ever have.
There's you don't get lost in the game whatsoever, and that's a factor that a lot of people probably feel but don't quite understand what that means when I say it. But you do not get lost in this game at all.
Oh, I mean, it's funny, like, saying stuff like that, because there's games. Like, for instance, I think the funniest example is either myself or my wife with the game of Minecraft. I was totally against the game, so was my wife when we first heard about it. I had mainly Scott and our buddy Zach and his brother Corwin were the main 4 people that were like, hey, you really need to play this game. Just sit down and play with us. And before I knew it, I played this game for like 6 hours, and I was like, "Oh shit, 6 hours went by! Like, this is obviously a great game! Like, holy fuck, I didn't even realize 6 hours went by!"
Yeah,
but this
when
game,
it's a good game,
you know, every fucking 15 minutes, like you are constantly looking at your clock, constantly wondering why this is taking you so long. You get to the end of a level and die, and you're just so frustrated. And there's times where I kept on failing at one mission so long that I was like, the only way I think I can get through this is to restart the entire level over again, or the entire mission over again, and do all 6 levels again. Because I'm at the last level, and I have no health and no ammo, and I can't fucking get past this thing. So I have to restart everything, and hopefully make it to a better point by the time I'm at the end.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, that's just not fun. There's no checkpoints in this game, guys, either.
No, there's not.
So if you die, you start to level up, though.
There's no save stating at all. If this game had save stating, it probably wouldn't be as frustrating.
Honestly, if they did an easy mode where you could save state, awesome.
Yes. Where you could save it in the middle of the mission or the middle of a level, like, and that way, like, if you go around the corner and 3 guys surround you, you could be like, all right, maybe I'll go around the corner a little slower, or a little differently, or pick up the ammo that I missed back there before I go up to there. Like, there's so many things that you could do in this game to make it way less frustrating, and it needs to happen to make this game worth it.
I agree. But, yep, that was John Wick Hex, a shithole of a game. Woo!
Yeah.
We did it! All right, well, we hope you enjoyed that ranting and raving of us and insane lunatics. But next week's game is...
Well, it's a dog's life.
It's a dog's life.
We played as a cat. Now we're playing as a dog.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're going through all the next is a sheep. We've already done a goat.
Oh, I guess we did do a goat already. And we did a shark.
We did a shark, so we got to get through all the animals in the animal kingdom.
Well, I guess there's the Untitled Goose game we could play at some point.
Yeah, we could also do the Bugs Life game, which I've heard is horrific.
I've been debating it because Jen actually
Horrific.
watched Bugs Life early today, and I used to love that game as a kid. I've debated playing that game.
Things about it.
Dude, I love the Bugs Life game. This is going to be a nostalgic one that I'm probably going to be like, oh god, why did I ever like this
So
game?
we'll play
But-
as ants and caterpillars and shit. We'll get it done. But yeah, next week's game is a dog's life. So join us next week, guys. Bye.
Okay, love you.
Bye.